What if I told you Nostradamus may have already seen the date October 29th, 2025, a day when the heavens split open and something ancient returns to claim its place among us? A day when a mysterious visitor called 3I Atlas races past Earth, and the veil between worlds becomes paper thin. NASA confirms it's real. Prophets whisper that this is not just a comet, but a harbinger, a messenger from beyond the stars or perhaps beyond time itself. And if Nostradamus truly saw this moment centuries ago, then what unfolds this October may not be just an astronomical event, it may be the awakening of the final cipher, the last key in a puzzle humanity has been too blind to solve. Because this isn't the first time the sky has carried warnings, but it may be the last time it does. Take a deep breath, because what you are about to hear will challenge what you believe about prophecy, science, and the destiny of Earth. Nostradamus wrote, "A great star will blaze for 7 days. The cloud will cause 2 suns to appear." Many dismissed it as poetic nonsense until now, because in 2025, the path of 3I Atlas will align in such a way that it could cause a phenomenon never before witnessed in recorded history, a moment when light and darkness wrestle in the sky. Pause and think a comet, bright as a second sun, shadowing the Earth. But what if, as Nostradamus hinted, that light conceals something greater? He warned of a threat from the sky that would precede the arrival of beings not of this world, visitors, invaders, or perhaps returning watchers. Every ancient civilization spoke of them. The Sumerians called them the Anunnaki. The Mayans built calendars to track their return. Even the Bible speaks of the sons of God descending upon the daughters of men. And now, centuries after Nostradamus penned his cryptic visions, the sky once again speaks in fire and dust. The object known as 3I Atlas, the third interstellar visitor ever detected, isn't from our solar system. It comes from the darkness beyond. The same kind of place where Oumuamua came from in 2017, a mysterious, cigar-shaped object that baffled every scientist. It wasn't a comet. It wasn't an asteroid. It moved in ways nothing natural should move. And now, 3I Atlas follows. Only this time, it's bigger, brighter, faster, and it's coming closer. NASA admits it's real, but they don't know what it is. Some researchers call it a fragment of a shattered star system. Others suspect it may even be artificial. But in prophecy circles, one phrase keeps echoing: Atlas returns to awaken the fallen ones. Could it be that what Nostradamus saw wasn't merely a comet, but a cosmic event tied to contact? He wrote that the great terror will come from the sky in the year of the new alignment, when the heavens open and the nations tremble. And according to calculations, October 29th, 2025, aligns eerily close to a once-in-a-century solar conjunction when Earth, Mars, and Jupiter line up behind the Sun. 3 planets, 1 alignment, 1 approaching object. The number 3 has always carried prophetic weight, the Trinity, the 3 wise men, the 3 days of darkness. And now, even the comet bears the same mark: 3I, 3, interstellar, Atlas. Coincidence or code? When Nostradamus used the name Atlas, he wasn't referring only to the mythic Titan. In Greek lore, Atlas is the one who holds up the heavens, the one who carries the weight of the sky on his shoulders. What if the comet is symbolically or literally doing the same, holding up a doorway between heaven and earth, holding open a gate that was sealed long ago? Ancient prophecies tell us that before the end, a celestial sign would appear, ushering in the days of shadow. The book of Revelation, chapter 6, speaks of a moment when the stars of heaven fell to the earth, and the sky receded like a scroll being rolled up. Could October 29th, 2025 be that moment? Consider this. Modern scientists estimate that 3I Atlas will pass through our solar system at an angle that could disturb smaller asteroids or even interact with our planet's magnetic field. Some fear it might trigger auroras unlike anything seen before, sky-wide electromagnetic storms that could shut down satellites and darken cities across continents. But prophecy doesn't speak of auroras. It speaks of darkness. Padre Pio once warned, "There will come 3 days of darkness. The air will be poisoned. The light of heaven will be extinguished. Mystics, saints, and seers across ages echoed the same warning: darkness that no lamp could pierce. What if this isn't mere metaphor? What if, as the comet's tail sweeps across Earth's magnetic field, it creates the literal shadow Nostradamus foresaw? And what if within that shadow something awakens? Nostradamus's lost quatrains, those not found in mainstream publications, allegedly contain references to silver men descending beneath a blue-green light. Scholars debate this line endlessly, but the timing of comet, a greenish hue, and strange aerial phenomena matches what's been observed when comets pass close. Now, connect the dots. NASA reports that the composition of Atlas includes cyanogen and diatomic carbon compounds that, when illuminated by the sun, glow an eerie blue-green. The same light described in multiple UFO reports. The same color seen during ancient sightings above Egypt, Sumer, and the Andes. Could this be what Nostradamus called the signal of the returners? Some believe that the so-called 3-eye Atlas alien prophecy is not about extraterrestrials arriving from a distant galaxy, but about entities that once ruled this world returning through a dimensional rift. Nostradamus wrote cryptically, "They will not come by ship, nor by flame, but through the open air when the heavens part." It sounds impossible until you realize NASA itself has been experimenting with portals in Earth's magnetosphere, known as X-points, where magnetic fields from the sun and Earth connect, creating temporary tunnels between space and time. Now imagine those X-points expanding under the electromagnetic shock of a massive comet. Suddenly, prophecy doesn't sound so far-fetched. Suddenly, Nostradamus's warnings feel less like fantasy and more like a time-delayed truth. Every great prophet saw it differently, but the essence remained the same. The Hopi spoke of the blue star Quatrain that would dance in the heavens before the purification of earth. The Bible speaks of the stars falling from heaven. Baba Vanga foresaw a bright body from the sky that brings new visitors and new fear. Even Edgar Cayce warned of foreign intelligences returning when the poles begin to shift. And here we are, the magnetic poles of Earth are drifting faster than at any point in recorded history. The North Pole has moved nearly 40 miles in just the last few years. The South Atlantic anomaly is expanding, weakening our protective shield. And now, as if on cue, an interstellar object approaches with a name tied to burden, shadow, and strength: Atlas. Could this be the point where all prophecies converge? Nostradamus's Century Eye, Quatrain 46 says, "Very near Ach, Lecture and Mirand, a great fire will fall from the sky for 3 nights. The cause will appear both stupefying and marvelous. Very soon after there will be an earthquake. A fire that lasts 3 nights. Scientists say debris from a comet's tail can create meteor storms lasting up to 3 nights. And where there are meteor storms, there are sonic booms, tremors, lights that turn night into day." Is it possible that Nostradamus wasn't describing metaphorical fire, but the physical arrival of 3-eye Atlas and its debris trail passing over the Earth, sparking earthquakes, fireballs, and panic? Now let's pause and ask, why October 29, 2025? Some say it's coincidence, but when you trace the numerology 10 plus 29 plus 20 and 25, you get 2064, a number that reduces to 3 when simplified. The same number as the comet, 3-eye. The same trinity echoed in every prophetic text. 3. It's as if the cosmos itself is stamping a divine signature. Even more unsettling, October 29th marks the anniversary of the Great Wall Street crash of 1929, a day of sudden collapse, chaos, and fear. Nostradamus often linked celestial omens to earthly disasters, suggesting that when the heavens move in a certain pattern, the earth mirrors it through turmoil. So what happens when a celestial visitor of unknown origin crosses paths with a planet in spiritual and moral decline? Prophecy suggests that cosmic signs don't just happen to us, they respond to us. Humanity's collective consciousness, our violence, our greed, our division, all these send vibrations into the universe. The ancients believed the cosmos answers back. Could it be that 3-eye Atlas isn't just passing by accident, but is drawn magnetically to the energy of a world teetering on the edge? Some theologians even argue that Atlas is symbolic of Lucifer himself, the fallen one who tried to bear the weight of heaven and fell under it. If so, the comet's approach could signify a reawakening of that rebellion. Nostradamus wrote of a star of the morning that would fall and ignite the great war between light and shadow. Revelation calls Lucifer the morning star. Could the comet, glowing blue-white in the sky, be both literal and symbolic a reflection of that very star? And here's where things grow darker, because there are whispers from former NASA insiders to military leaks that governments are preparing for something in late 2025. Sky monitoring networks have increased funding. Unexplained military drills are happening in the Arctic and Pacific. Even the Vatican's astronomical observatory, named Lucifer on Mount Graham, has reportedly begun tracking 3I Atlas under secrecy. What are they expecting? What do they know that the public doesn't? Let's not forget Nostradamus was not the only one to see a heavenly messenger heralding the end. The Sibylline oracles, ancient prophetic texts once held in Rome, described a fire-bright herald from the stars that will mark the time when the hidden ones return. The words hidden ones appear in Egyptian lore as well, referring to gods or beings buried beneath the earth or sleeping beneath the seas. Now imagine this, a massive electromagnetic wave from the passing comet triggering deep sea or subterranean seismic activity. Volcanoes awaken, earthquakes ripple, the ground splits, and from the chaos, ancient chambers long buried are revealed. It sounds like myth until you realize that in 2023, scientists discovered enormous structures beneath the ice of Antarctica using radar structures that shouldn't exist, geometric and artificial. What if 3I Atlas isn't just a sign, but a key that unlocks what has been sealed for millennia? Some modern prophets claim to have seen visions of beings of light descending when the sky cracks open. They describe enormous crafts, metallic spheres, hovering silently while humanity trembles, but not all describe them as enemies. Some say they are the Watchers, returning to observe or to intervene. Yet Nostradamus's tone was never one of hope in this event. He warned of chaos, of confusion, of a world divided in belief, some welcoming the visitors as gods, others seeing them as demons. He foresaw a great war of truth, following the descent not fought with weapons, but with faith and perception. And that war, he said, would decide the fate of mankind. If that prophecy aligns with October 29, 2025, then we are less than 2 weeks away from a potential awakening or reckoning that could reshape civilization. NASA's official data says 3I Atlas will make its closest approach near the orbit of Mars, but unofficial models shared quietly in online astronomy circles suggest fragments could come much closer, even entering the inner solar system near Earth's magnetic plane. And if any debris collides with our atmosphere, it could cause EMP-like events, power blackouts, communication breakdowns, even partial darkness across regions. 3 days, the same period repeated in mystic texts. Could the 3 days of darkness be triggered not by divine wrath, but by cosmic cause? Could Nostradamus's fire from the sky and Padre Pio's air that will kill be describing the same chain reaction, ionized particles interacting with our planet's atmosphere, poisoning the air, disrupting sunlight, and causing global panic? Even the Quran mentions a smoke from the sky that will blanket the earth before the end. Scientists warn that cometary dust can indeed create global haze, altering weather and dimming sunlight. Suddenly, religion and science seem to be describing the same event just through different lenses. Pause. Think about that. Every religion, every prophet, every vision converging on one cosmic truth. Something comes from the sky. It changes everything. And that's exactly what October 29th, 2025 could be: the Great Convergence, the day prophecy and physics meet. People may laugh. They may say it's all coincidence that comets come and go, but even skeptics can't ignore the precision of what's unfolding. Nostradamus's fire for 3 nights, Padre Pio's 3 days of darkness, the Hopi's blue star, NASA's blue-green interstellar comet, every sign layered upon another, like a riddle designed to wake the few who still listen. And maybe that's the real purpose of prophecy, not to predict, but to prepare. Because whether it's aliens, angels, or a cosmic realignment, the question remains, are we ready? Are we spiritually awake enough to face what's coming? As the comet's orbit approaches, you'll hear denials. You'll hear, "Don't panic." But in secret, world powers are watching the skies with unease. Because even if 3I Atlas passes safely, the electromagnetic wake could trigger satellite failures, climate anomalies, or even cosmic radiation bursts. And if Nostradamus is right, if that great terror from the sky comes when the world least expects, then the countdown has already begun. October 29th isn't just a date anymore. It's a mirror. It reflects who we are as a species, curious, arrogant, blind, yet standing on the brink of revelation. And maybe, just maybe, that's exactly what Nostradamus saw. Maybe that's why the great seers never gave exact details, because the truth wasn't meant to be understood, only felt. Nostradamus wrote in riddles not to confuse, but to protect, to ensure that when humanity was finally ready to understand, the signs would reveal themselves naturally, like pieces of a puzzle aligning in the heavens. And now, they are. Look around the world. The same week that NASA confirmed 3I Atlas's trajectory, strange phenomena began unfolding: red auroras over equatorial skies, magnetic disturbances in places that never had them, and instruments picking up low-frequency hums beneath the ocean. Could these be coincidences, or echoes, early ripples of something massive drawing near? Ancient scrolls from the Dead Sea mention a shaking of the deep before the arrival of the messengers of the firmament. Those messengers were said to carry the knowledge of the gods, but also the judgment of the wicked. If 3I Atlas truly comes from interstellar space, then it has seen suns die and civilizations vanish. Imagine what it carries with it. Not just ice and dust, but memory, perhaps energy, perhaps consciousness. And maybe that's what prophecy really points to: not invasion, but communication, a dialogue between dimensions, a conversation that began long before humanity even existed, now returning full circle. Nostradamus once wrote, "The trumpet shall sound in the heavens, the sleeping ones shall rise, and the sky will speak with voices." What if the voices are signals, frequencies, resonances emitted as the comet approaches? Modern radio telescopes have already detected anomalous bursts from interstellar space, repeating at odd intervals, behaving almost like coded transmissions. Could one of those bursts be coming from the direction of 3I Atlas? Scientists won't say, but the timing is too perfect. Even skeptics feel it, that quiet sense that something cosmic is approaching. It's in the restlessness of the animals, the unpredictability of the weather, the subtle pull in human emotion. Have you noticed how time itself feels faster? How days blur together? How everything seems on edge? Many mystics say that's because reality is tightening, that as the veil thins, time compresses. When 3I Atlas crosses our region of space, that veil could rupture, and what lies behind it may not be physical at all. It may be spiritual. There's a quatrain, rarely quoted, where Nostradamus writes, "The great vessel will appear in the heavens, and from it will descend the angelic form clothed in metal. The world will fall in adoration and terror." Centuries later, this could be read as a metaphor for a spacecraft or for something beyond our comprehension. To ancient eyes, technology and divinity were indistinguishable. To modern eyes, the divine has become technological, and maybe they're the same thing. If the beings connected to 3I Atlas reveal themselves, humanity will face its greatest test, not of survival, but of spirit. Will we greet them with fear and weapons, or humility and wisdom? Because Nostradamus hinted that the outcome would depend on how we respond. He wrote that the fire in the sky would burn for 3 nights, but only those of the pure heart would see its true meaning. To others, it would appear as destruction. To the awakened, revelation. Imagine standing outside on that night, October 29th, 2025, looking up to see a streak of turquoise light cutting across the heavens. People will cheer. Some will pray. Others will hide. But within that beauty could lie the first whisper of change, the moment humanity realizes it is not alone, and never has been. There are stories hidden in the Vatican archives, whispered by monks that Nostradamus's private letters spoke of a cosmic messenger that will shake the towers of the world. He described a sign in the heavens that no power on earth can silence. Could this be that moment? Governments may try to explain it away. News anchors will call it just another comet. But deep down, we'll know, because something ancient inside the human soul remembers. We've seen this before in the days of Atlantis, in the age of Egypt, when gods walked among men. The return of Three-Eye Atlas could signify the closing of the cycle of ages. In Hindu prophecy, it is said that the Kali Yuga, the Dark Age, will end when a heavenly fire star appears, cleansing the earth and renewing it. Every tradition from east to west agrees. A celestial event marks both the end and the beginning, destruction and rebirth. So maybe October 29, 2025, is not the end at all. Maybe it's the moment the clock resets. And yet, every rebirth demands a reckoning. Nostradamus warned of the King of Terror descending from the sky in the 7th month. That prophecy was once tied to 1999, but the phrase King of Terror could describe a celestial body, a comet or asteroid, as easily as a tyrant. The year may have been mistranslated or intentionally veiled. What if that King of Terror is Three-Eye Atlas, arriving not to destroy, but to awaken a sleeping species to its higher destiny? Many forget that Nostradamus wasn't just a seer, he was a healer, an astrologer, a man who believed that knowledge of the stars could heal the human soul. Perhaps his darkest prophecies were warnings to guide us toward transformation. Maybe he saw not doom, but evolution. Still, he warned that before illumination comes confusion, before peace, panic, the 3 nights of fire, the 3 days of darkness. The world will tremble as the veil lifts because the truth will be unbearable for those who built their lives on illusion. When the comet passes, skies could erupt in auroral storms, electromagnetic chaos painting the atmosphere in greens and reds. Satellites may fail, cities may plunge into shadow, panic will rise. But amidst that darkness, something profound could happen, a surge of global awakening, an undeniable realization that humanity stands on sacred ground in a living, conscious universe. Maybe the real invasion isn't from outside, but from within, an invasion of awareness, the collective human spirit remembering its cosmic origin. And perhaps that's what Nostradamus truly foresaw, not ships descending, but souls ascending, a planetary awakening disguised as catastrophe. Because that's how prophecy works. It hides light within darkness. If we face what's coming with fear, it will feel like the end of the world. But if we face it with faith, it will feel like the beginning of eternity. The countdown to October 29, 2025 is more than a countdown to an event. It's a countdown to a choice, humanity's final test, whether we destroy what we fear or embrace what we've long awaited. Maybe Three-Eye Atlas is the cipher Nostradamus left us, a message hidden across time, decoded only by those who dare to look beyond. And maybe its passing will unlock the final secret, that the universe is not random, but responsive, that the stars are not silent, but alive, that every prophecy was written not to warn us of death, but to remind us of destiny. As the world watches the heavens this October, remember his words, "The great light shall fall, and from it shall be born the truth of the ages." Perhaps that truth is already within us, waiting to awaken. And when the shadow of Atlas sweeps across the earth, perhaps it will not bring invasion or destruction, but revelation, the moment when humanity finally looks up not in fear, but in understanding and realizes it was never alone. So on that night, when the sky glows with the fire of an interstellar visitor, and the world holds its breath, remember that you are living the page Nostradamus once saw centuries ago. The prophecy isn't unfolding somewhere else. It's unfolding now. It's unfolding through us. October 29th, 2025. The final cipher for humanity. It's unfolding through us. That's the part people often forget when they think of prophecy. They imagine it as something distant, something written in old scrolls, meant for a future generation. But what if prophecy was never about foretelling events, but about awakening hearts? What if every comet, every vision, every warning was meant to remind us of who we are and where we came from? The truth is, humanity has always been connected to the stars. Our bodies carry the dust of ancient supernovas. Our DNA hums with cosmic resonance. When we gaze into the heavens, we're not looking out, we're looking back home. So when an interstellar visitor like 3I Atlas comes near, perhaps it's not just a celestial event, perhaps it's a reunion, a return of something we lost long ago: wonder, reverence, connection. Nostradamus may have understood that better than anyone. Beneath the riddles, beneath the fear, there was always a thread of hope. He wrote that, after the terror, the great renewal shall come. The lost shall remember their origin. Those words now read less like a warning and more like an invitation. Because maybe, just maybe, October 29th, 2025 won't be the day the world ends, but the day the illusion of separation ends. The day humanity realizes that everything the prophets, the planets, the comets, the mysteries are all part of one living tapestry. Still, the moment before dawn is always the darkest. Prophecy after prophecy tells us this truth. When the shadow of Atlas falls across the earth, fear will grip many hearts. Power grids might fail. Communications could go silent. A cold, unexplainable wind might sweep across continents. It will feel apocalyptic. But hidden within that chaos will be stillness, a silence so deep that it pierces the soul. That silence is where revelation begins. Because it's in that silence that humanity will hear what it's been too loud to listen to: the voice of creation itself. Some will hear it as a whisper, others as an inner knowing. Nostradamus described it as the voice that speaks in fire. Modern mystics call it the frequency of awakening. Whatever name you give it, it's the same current that runs through every star, every heartbeat, every act of faith. And as 3I Atlas moves past, that current could surge. A literal shift in the planet's resonance, the human frequency as electromagnetic waves intertwine with cosmic energy. Science will call it a magnetic anomaly. Prophecy will call it the moment of alignment. In that alignment, the veil between the physical and the divine could grow thin enough for humanity to glimpse its own reflection, to see, maybe for the first time, that we are not separate from the cosmos, but a living expression of it. Imagine it. Cities darkened, skies glowing emerald and violet. Fear spreading, then suddenly calm. People stepping outside, looking upward, realizing they're witnessing something ancient and sacred. Not destruction, but transformation. The return of mystery to a world that thought it had outgrown it. And in that collective gaze, something changes. Division fades. For a fleeting moment, the world is united under one sky, the same sky Nostradamus once watched from his observatory, the same sky our ancestors prayed to, the same sky that birthed us. Maybe that's what he meant when he said, "From the heavens shall come the great reconciliation." Not aliens landing in ships, not gods descending in fire, but humanity finally reconciling with its own cosmic identity. Yet Nostradamus also knew that awakening comes with consequence. He warned that after the sign in the heavens, the false lights will arise to deceive the nations. Could that mean misinformation, false messiahs, or something even more subtle: the temptation to twist revelation into control? Because every time truth appears, power tries to possess it. That will be humanity's next test. To discern the real from the false, to see through illusion, to understand that the true visitors may not arrive in physical form at all, but as consciousness itself expanding within us. The great awakening will not come from the sky descending, but from the soul ascending. And that's the prophecy most have missed. The final cipher of Nostradamus isn't about destruction, it's about decoding the mystery of existence itself. Every comet, every alignment, every ancient verse was part of a cosmic pattern leading to this awakening. So when 3I Atlas blazes across the heavens on October 29th, 2025, let the world tremble. Let it wonder. Let it question everything it thought it knew. Because in that questioning, truth will bloom. The skies may darken, the earth may shake, but the light that will rise after the inner light will outshine it all. And perhaps, in that moment, humanity will realize that prophecy was never meant to frighten us, but to prepare us to soften our hearts for revelation. The comet may pass and vanish into the void, but what it leaves behind will never fade. It will leave questions that burn brighter than any star. Who are we? Where do we come from? What else waits in the silence beyond the galaxies? Nostradamus gave us clues, not answers, because the answer was always meant to be found within. The day we stop fearing the unknown is the day the unknown becomes known. So when the date arrives, when October 29, 2025, paints the heavens with a blue-green fire, and the world looks upward in awe and dread, remember that this is not an accident. You are alive to witness it for a reason. The prophets saw it, the mystics dreamed it, and now humanity will live it. Stand still, watch the sky, feel the pulse of creation move through you. Because that's the moment when the veil will lift not just between heaven and earth, but between who we were and who we're becoming. Perhaps 3i Atlas is not coming to earth, but for earth, to awaken what sleeps, to call back what was lost, to remind a fractured species that it is part of something eternal. And as Nostradamus wrote in his final, almost forgotten quatrain, the great traveler will depart, leaving behind the seeds of a new world. That world may not appear overnight, but it will begin that night in the silence after the fire fades, in the calm after the trembling ends, in the hearts of those who choose wonder over fear. So remember, prophecy is not about predicting the future. It's about preparing the soul. When you hear the world speak of the comet, when news outlets panic or dismiss it, when the night sky glows and strange colors breathe, don't fear. Watch. Listen. The universe is not ending. It's awakening. And perhaps so are we. Because maybe the real message of October 29, 2025, isn't that something out there is coming to us, but that something within us is finally ready to return home to the stars. And when that happens, when humanity finally opens its eyes to the cosmos, the prophecy of Nostradamus will be fulfilled. The gates of the unknown will open, not in the heavens, but in the human heart. That is the final cipher for humanity. And it begins now.